Generally, we're going to have the babies in the isolates on admission. Usually when they're on respiratory support is when we're going to have them more in an isolate. We use it for thermoregulation. So basically when babies are born, especially early, we don't want them wasting energy on maintaining their own temperature. We want them to use that energy towards things like respiratory, sepsis, things like that. So how we do that is with our isolate. There's an on button in the back here and like a more main on button in the way back. Make sure it's plugged in. And we're going to use this to make sure that their temperature is stable. And that's going to be important because if they're showing signs of increased work of breathing or anything like that, if their temperature is not stable, it's going to make that worse, right? So we need to make sure that everything is right with their isolate. So just so you know the main, how we use it and why we use it. Up here is going to be all of our settings. So when you first turn it on, it's asking for a setting. There's two main settings. You can have it on skin mode or air mode. Skin mode is the one that has like the picture of the little baby here. And then air mode is the one that's like a fan. The third mode is like warmer mode, which I'll show you also. So if we have it on air mode, which is what it's on right now, we have a set point of the air temperature, which is the small number. And then what the air temperature actually is the big number. So it's going to right now go up to 33 because I set it at 33. If the baby's in there, we will have a probe on the baby. So you'll also see a large number next to the baby, and that's going to be the baby's temperature. So you'll see the orange light next to which one is on, which mode, but also you'll see the set temperature. So if we switch it to skin mode, you're going to see both the big number and the little number up here. The little number is the air temperature, the set point for our skin temperature. So with the skin mode, we're going to set 36.5, and the air is going to go up and down to keep the baby's temperature at 36.5. So usually we'll use skin mode for the more unstable babies or younger babies, and we'll use air mode as we're trying to wean them off the isolate. So if it's alarming, sometimes it's that, you know, our temperature is too far off from our set points or something like that. You always just use the silence button for the alarms. The third mode is our warmer mode. Warmer mode is when it's open. You open the top with like a foot pedal right here. There's also like an up and down on the side. Do you want to get closer? Up and down for the side there. This is to open it quickly. Just always make sure there's nothing on top of the isolate. If there's, you know, a feeding pump or something on top of the isolate, or an IV pole or anything like that, or that anyone's looking over. So just make sure everything's clear. Once it opens, it goes straight to the warmer mode, and the warmer mode is just by percentage. So it's similar to the air mode in the isolate, where we're going to set the warmer mode, and then the baby's temperature can go up and down based. We'll go up and down just on the baby regulating their own temperature from this amount of heat that we're giving them. We could also put it on skin mode while they're in the warmer. When we have it open, you just want to make sure if you have the side down or anything like that, that you put the side back up if you're going to walk away. The sides go back up. You have to be careful, and you'll see the red things on the sides that it looks like it's closed, but it's not locked right now, so it could open. So always make sure that it locks all the way. You also can open the bottom if you needed to get to the baby from the bottom, sometimes we put the head up here to get the airway from the top. Humidity. So one other mode that we use with our babies, especially early babies, is humidity. We try not to keep the top open for too long if they're in a supposed to be humidified. So especially younger babies, they lose water through their skin, and we will have insensible water losses when we have them open like this. So especially like a very preterm baby on admission, we want to do what we have to like this and then close them up as soon as possible. We can close with that little lower button. When it's closed, we can humidify the air that's going to the baby. And you're going to see that next to these water drops. It'll have a percentage of humidity next to that. So we want to make sure that we're closing it as soon as possible and using the portholes. It's hard to use the portholes sometimes. You have to get used to it. It's hard to reach around with your left hand. Usually you'll go in this way to do things right-handed and go in from the other side to do things left-handed. So you'll see a lot of the nurses always go from this side of the isolette. If you need to put the side down, you can, but again, to prevent those insensible water losses or heat loss, we want to keep it as closed as possible, which is why we want to use the portholes as much as possible. If you do put the side down for a long period of time, there's a button up here that you can press that is creates an air veil. It'll kind of push a lot of air here that keeps the heat from coming out. So if we're going to keep the side open for a long time, you can do that. Is that it? Any questions?